All right, I'm gonna call the Forestville monthly meeting to order. It's gonna be held at, time is 6:32 PM on Monday, December 18th, 2023 at the Forestville Town Hall. Roll call.
Kevin Gillett,
Here.
Larry Huber,
Here.
Jason Klahach.
Here.
Dina Schmidt is absent right now, and I'm Ruth Kirscher. And we also have Roy Engelbert and Joe Bader.
All right, can we do the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Verification of public notice.
Yes, the notice has been published on the Town Hall Bulletin Board and on the website.
Agenda presentation. Anybody have any problems with the agenda or concerns?
Make a motion, we adopt the agenda as presented.
I second that.
All right, I have a motion to accept the agenda as written and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Hearing none, it will carry. Approval of meeting minutes from the November 20th, 2023 meeting. I believe they were emailed.
Yeah, they look good to me.
Yeah, that's what I seen too.
They can make a motion to adopt or accept, approve the meeting minutes.
I second that.
All right, I have a motion to approve the November 20th, 2023 meeting minutes and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it will carry. Treasurer's financial report.
Okay, I think everybody has a copy. The cemetery checking account is $77.89. The cemetery perpetual care, $11,655.51. Savings account, $1,302.26. The town checking, we have $1,471.05. The money market, $94,745.78. And the LGIP, $147,264.84 for a total of $256,517.33. And we also have a balance on the American Rescue, the ARPA plan, $37,752, and that should be about $40,000 because she has like $3,000 subtracted twice. And I'll get that corrected for her before the end of the year. And also the Southern Door Department escrow account is $130,612.95. The total current then would be, the total of everything then would be $424,883.15. And there is one, she told me she just sent the bill to Dean Farron for the cemetery. It was at the cemetery land rent. There, the acres of,
Sent them a bill?
yeah.
Yeah, you mean
Dean
for
Farron,
rental of the
for the
other
cemetery.
section, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Quite a few checks went out, they're gonna go off, big ones. Here in.
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I second that.
All right, I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it will carry. Public comment. Do we have anybody on
Online?
the line?
No. We are it right now.
All right, public comment from you guys? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Roy Engelbert, District 3 Supervisor and representing Ward 2 of the town of Forestville. Just like to give you a little update of what's going on in the county. As far as highway safety, in 2023, we got the intersection of County Road BB, or known as Gordon Road, which intersects with Highway 5247 by culverts. That's been made into a right turn only. People exiting on County Road B, we can only turn south. If you want to go north, you have to go down the old highway, I call it, and go back up to the roundabout and then turn south. And that was about 4 years in the making, trying to get that done. Eventually, the state said they're gonna make a roundabout there, but we don't know when that's gonna happen in that one. And then just recently, I think we call it the Cloverleaf intersection by Renard's Cheese. If you go through that, you'll see stop signs on DK. There is no stop sign coming off of the Highway 57 anymore. And when you come off of a highway, you don't necessarily, people don't think that they have to have a stop, and they used to have to do that. So now there's stop signs on Highway DK in both directions, and the driveway immediately across that intersection going into Renard's Cheese, that has been eliminated. And Renard's Cheese is gonna make a larger parking lot to make that safer, and that was vetted through Dan Visti, our traffic manager for Southern North Schools, also the sheriff department. And so that's been made safer. Another thing you probably didn't realize that our fire station in Brussels Bug Station, that's where the EMS is also for the county. And now this year, there's a full-time paramedic operating 24/7 out of that station. So that happened in 2023. For coming up in 2024, there's a couple capital improvement packages coming. One is the annex to the museum. Now, storing the archives for the museum has been a topic for the last 20 years. And now I've heard about it for the last 12 years. But they never had a place to store the archives. And so 4 years ago, the county did buy the old Yonkers building. So now the plans are being sent out to the various construction companies for a request for performance for a new building or new addition to the museum. And the Yonkers building would be torn down. And that would, hopefully by the first quarter of 2024, we'll have a decision on that. Also, the other improvement, the maintenance building for the Parks Department, right next to the John Miles Park. Currently, it's real small. They need more space. And so bids are gonna go out there in the first quarter of next year. Gonna happen. Something to interest you. Right now, the county is working real hard, and there's a bill in the legislature to try to increase the minimum requirement for going out for bids. Right now, it's $25,000, and if there's anything over 25,000, you have to go out for bids. The bill proposes to go up to $50,000 to go out for bids. The request originally was gonna be 100,000, but then the compromise got it down to 50,000. And as you know, chip sealing, a mile of chip sealing is around 35,000 now. So if that happens, that'd be a good thing. Another thing that's happening in regulations is that you know that blue and red lights is for law enforcement, right, Jason? Blue and red lights, law enforcement? Red lights.
He should know.
Flashing red lights is strictly for emergency vehicles and fire department. And before there was always confusion about amber lights. And so right now, the county municipal trucks have green lights, much more visible than the amber lights before. And so you're gonna see more and more green lights on county trucks working up down the highways at night. There's a little bit movement right now trying to get all municipalities to get the green lights on their vehicles. Whether that's gonna happen or not, I don't know. But that's what's going on in those little departments that should interest you. That's my report for the county.
Thank you, Roy. Yeah, I had heard that they were gonna put a roundabout to begin with over at Culverts,
Well,
but I don't.
they're working with the state.
There's a lot of discussion that land acquisition has to be made, and that can be quite tedious. There's also a creek involved in that whole area. So whether that happens or not, I don't know. But people are still trying to turn left at that intersection.
Yeah,
Really?
oh, yeah,
Yeah, they're trying to turn left.
it's crazy.
It's usually the natives that are in a hurry.
All right, hearing nothing else, we'll go on to correspondence. Do you have anything, Ruth?
No, I don't.
Me either. Anybody else? Okay. Southern Door Fire Department report. I didn't hear anything other than the checks for the remaining funds will be sent to our treasurer before the end of the year. So we will have that before this is
Okay,
done.
from that,
From the remaining
the funds for,
$38,000.
Yep.
Total, right? Then the 68% went to Nassau, which they kept themselves, and then the percentages went
that
from
was to
there.
pay for lawyers and
That's
stuff.
to pay for the lawyers and
And the
any appraisals and stuff we
Yep.
needed to get done, okay? So those are
That'll be
scheduled
settled up before the end of
before
the
the
year.
end of the year, yep. And I will have the checks in hand. Maplewood sanitary report,
Don't have anything from them.
okay? Item number 10, cemetery report.
Couple of things that we have to do with. I have requests to transfer ownership of grave sites from Carol Krieger. Ed and Carol had purchased a number of lots up there over the years, and it's been a nightmare getting it all straightened out between Canucks and everybody else up there. So Ed's now gone as of this past year, this year. And got a call from Mark that Carol wanted to deed or transfer ownership of lots both to Mark, to Randy, and to Rick. And so to that end, I got together with them and went over exactly what they wanted, drew up the transfer documentation, and these things need to be approved by the town board, by the committee, but we've always done it at the town board level, authorizing the transfer of ownership within family members. There's no monetary transaction as long as the original owner is still alive, and that was really what Carol wanted to get done before the end of the year. So I would just make a motion that we accept or the recommendation from the committee, if you will, is to transfer the ownership of those sites from Ed and Carol to Rick and Randy and Mark, as they asked me to do. So they fill out a form, she signs it, and she gives it to me.
You need a motion on that.
I don't know, did we ever do a motion?
usually
Yeah, we
do.
should, yeah.
I'll make the motion that we do that. I
Okay,
think that's a great
transfer.
thing to do,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay,
I'll second that.
very good.
All right, I have a motion made to transfer the cemetery plots ownership and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that part will carry.
Okay, my other thing is this. We talked about this. This is something, Ruth, here you go. This is the statutes with regard to the cemetery and perpetual care fees. Now, when I went into that, this is the statute that covers municipal cemeteries. The highlighted place on the bottom of that, it says the municipality may terminate the care fund, transferring the money to its general fund if the municipality owns the cemetery, provides all maintenance expenses in perpetuity for those graves in the cemetery at the time of termination. So we have to terminate the care funds. Now, there's a bunch of little blue things in there, calling about different statutes, different years. Here's the act that was passed, Assembly Bill 1047, that was passed in 1979, and there you see that exact same wording. Now, in the past, when cemeteries were, when the laws were created for cemeteries, this was, perpetual care fees were all a part of that. And this law was changed and finally published in 1980. We just continued to propagate a perpetual care fund, never changed it. And then when we were at the convention, I asked Carol Norwicky about that in convention, and we were floored at her response. I did the research and found out that, hey, we can do this. So therefore, I make a motion that we terminate our perpetual care fund and put it into our general funds, our general operating funds. And as in accordance with Assembly Bill Act or Chapter 254 laws in Wisconsin.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So when you're saying our general fund, this isn't gonna go into our general fund to spend technically?
Yes, it is.
Would we do like a sub anything with it, meaning
We
those
would
dollars
not
still
have
stay
to.
with the cemetery?
We would not have to, because what happens is that we have a separate bank for all of the monies that are associated with the cemetery, which creates some problems for our treasurer and the clerk. And so they said the money can be transferred to the general fund, which is in the Bank of Luxembourg, our operating fund.
But it would stay in the cemetery account.
That's what I'm
You could-
asking.
Oh, yeah, you could
That
do
those
that.
dollars
It
are
would
still,
be-
just
Yeah,
still
earmark
tracked
it,
as a cemetery.
earmark it.
Right, that was really my question.
Oh, sorry. Didn't
Not
understand
into the
question.
town, yeah, into the
Okay.
town.
Because we have transferred monies to those other bank accounts to cover mowing,
Yes.
because we didn't never have enough money
Right.
in there. And so we've been maintaining the cemetery out of our general fund in any case. Now, if we take that monies and we put that into our general fund, earmark it as cemetery funds, then, in my way of thinking, then we legally can do that. And so then that also brings up the other piece of, why would we have a separate bank account where they require $10,000? Or they charge us a fee? So we've always kept that perpetual care fund and
Right,
Associated Bank,
10,000.
it's over 10,000, so that's always obviated the need. But in my way of thinking, we should move the whole thing into the general fund and call it the cemetery account, or whatever you wanna call it, a sub-fund, just like we do with the escrow account,
Right.
just like we did with the ARPA.
Right,
Very
yes,
same
that's
thing.
all I was asking, as
Yeah.
long as it was archived for those,
For that purpose.
yep, makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah,
Cause the account is separate from the town funds.
Right,
yeah, it's separate, but I don't see us having to have two accounts, or two
Or two
banks.
banks, no.
Anyway, we can't even spell the word cemetery right on our chest.
So Larry made the motion, I'm gonna second that.
Okay.
all right, I have a motion made, to transfer the perpetual care fund to the general fund, and, I have a second on it, all in favor?
Right,
Aye. And we're not gonna change it as far as when we have a burial. We still will collect a perpetual care fee. It's a fee that we then put into that general fund.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, all opposed? Hearing none, that will carry.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else in there you wanna get taken care of?
Not at this time,
All right.
not at this time.
All right, item 11, appoint poll workers for the 2024 and 2025 election. Okay. So how would you like to
These
go
are
about
all of yours.
Yes, Monica Nelson, Lynn Jurabic, those are my, and Sandra Gigstead are my three chief inspectors that have had the basic training, so I usually use one of them. Diane Slivka and Ellen Levenhagen are both on the Democratic list, so we have to have them on. And then the others are non-party, they don't have a proposed party. Joanne Bungle, Lauren Eaker, Lori Schleifer, Dennis LaFave, Barb LaFave, Barb Martell, and Emily Gillett and Patricia Brunette. And Emily also has the basic training.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
All right. So I just need a motion then that we would approve these poll workers for the next 2 years.
I make a motion to approve the stated poll workers.
I'll second that.
All right, I have a motion to approve the poll workers as read off. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. Broadband update. Information update by Roy. Would you like to come and help?
Yes. May I join you?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Certainly may. And I probably will provide some more stuff too, Roy. Like,
For
we
the
got a
3
lot
o'clock
more.
mailing?
The 3 o'clock meeting? Yeah, what the heck? I mean, we got tons of stuff.
A year ago, about this time is when we sent a letter out to all the 468 people on our mailing list that have garbage collections. And Ruth, I'm gonna turn these over to you. This is the board broadband survey revised on that.
Right. This is 4 slides out of the,
Whistler report, huh?
yeah, well, this is the survey data.
Okay,
And then I also have the town feedback data.
right, okay, so you got that, that's great. And this was, we didn't know for sure is that had to do, give you a little background, Kevin. Ken Patich came to this meeting and sort of chastised us to get on the stick to do something because we were one of 3 places that didn't have anything going. Well, now still 2 places don't have anything going, Ephraim and the village of Forestville. But it's a moving target all the time. So what we had a very good response. We had, as I think we had out of the 400 some that we carried out, we had a response of 36%. Majority of them said, yes, we want and continue doing survey work on broadband. And that's why we formed a broadband committee. Here's a sample of the letter that we sent out. And lo and behold, we had asked, even had people said, yes, we'd like to help you with that. And so part of the people that let me pull that out here, if I can figure it out. The people that said, yes, we wanted to help you, that's where we picked up Jason Rower and Chris Sampo on our committee along with myself, and we attended, starting in February, we attended meetings at the fire station in Brussels. We interviewed 6 internet service providers. And after interviewing the 6 internet providers, we sent out requests for, well, first of all, we had sent out requests for information, and then they interviewed us over either by Zoom meetings or by in person. And we sent out requests, and 3 of them came back in with proposals. And the one that came out with the least expensive cost was Brightspeed. Brightspeed bought CenturyTel, and they, at first, back in October, they didn't really have a handle on what we were trying to do. Well, they got up to speed real fast, along with AT&T, were the last companies to come into the game, to our situation. And so both of those 2 companies, Brightspeed and AT&T, are what they call legacy companies. They have been around and they got certain rights over the other internet service providers. For instance, they got the rights to go down your right of way and put poles in or put their stuff on poles. They don't have to go through permits that other internet service providers have to do. So far, we've had several individuals or municipalities have gone through the process. Bailey's Harbor has gone through the process and they received the grant. And now they went with Insight at first, but then Insight had some problems. So now they're gone with Bertrand. But the very first one that did something in broadband was the town of Washington. When they lost their power back 4 years ago, at that time is when they put the fiber optic line to the island. And now they're in the process of connecting to the residents. So that's happening right now. And all their residents will have fiber optics to their house by end of next year. And Quantum is doing that connection right now. So where are we today? Well, we had a meeting at the Fort County Auditorium. We had about 150 people there.
Okay.
Giving an update to just what I'm saying, where we came, what we did, giving an overhead present. And a lot of positive questions, a lot of positive results, that meeting. And so since that time, we've met twice now. And the last time we met was on that last,
That's Tuesday.
12th, yeah, 12th. And so here's where we are right now as far as our, I'm gonna pass these down.
Well,
Down in there.
well, here, Roy, this is as of 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay,
This is the updated version.
Updated version.
well, he's still got the mistake on that one yet.
He still has the mistake on here?
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
this is, but I,
This thing keeps changing.
yeah, he's got our 10% figure wrong.
Roy did state it was a moving target.
And I've probably been to almost every one of those meetings, and it is amazing the work you guys have done.
You know, it's, and John Cook is the lead man, he's the chair of this committee. But
So
this,
he still got the mistake in there.
yeah.
Ah.
So the town here then agreed to join Brussels, Union and Gardner in securing all this information. And so they said, yes, come with us. So we are with the four townships together. John Cook, who is a resident of Gardner, former town supervisor, town chair rather, and former counter supervisor, is leading this thing. He's in conversation with Jessica Hatch, who is a coordinator with the county. And this whole project now is over almost a $16 million project. As you can see on the bottom is the project cost for each one of the townships. I wrote that information down. Now, with the BEAD program, and Kevin, Larry, and myself, we're at the meeting talking about the BEAD program. And last week I still had to ask questions about that program because I still didn't understand it. But the BEAD program is the federal funded program authorizing money to the state of $1.55 billion, $1,550 million of federal money coming to the state. This will be a grant program, and the person or the company writing the grants is the internet service provider. So the internet service provider, Brightspeed, will be writing a grant for Brussels, Union, Gardner, and Forestville separately.
Each individual town.
Each individual town, each municipality is a grant, is a deal. As a municipality, you are required to do some participation. It's not all free money. Now, look on the bottom of this, it says 506 BEAD eligible, 155 non-BEAD eligible. We, in the town of Forestville, have 629 BEAD eligible, 0 non-BEAD eligible. What does that mean? That means that in the town of Forestville, the town is underserved or no service. Either, in my case, where I live, I got 8 megabytes download. That's less than 25 megabytes download, so I'm underserved. If you're, I'm unserved rather. If you're underserved, you have less than 100 megabytes download, and you're underserved. So the town of Forestville is underserved, meaning that the BEAD program could give up to 75% of the total cost. Could. I'm stressing that word,
Well,
could.
I just know how that works.
Okay.
They don't know how it works.
And so the non-BEAD eligible, like Brussels has 155 residents that are not eligible. So that means that there's no BEAD money coming to that. So in that particular case, for those 155, the municipality has to pay 50%. And then the ISP will be paying 50% of the cost. Didn't get that clear until this morning. That's what that means. So don't get confused with that. Now, what the internet service provider, Brightspeed, has told us now, they said that we will pay 25% of the total cost. And you, municipality, decide what percent you want to pay.
Right.
You could,
Cause that's what we're gonna ask in the grant,
No,
the difference.
no.
that's, well, let me finish, right, if you elect to pay, you don't wanna pay anything, then you're forcing the internet service provider to ask for 75%.
We're never gonna get 75%.
No,
And if you wanna go less, that means so let me give you a breakdown. Gardner said, we will go with 25%. We will pay 25% of the total cost. That's what we will pay. Union, well, we only wanna pay 20%. That's what their board decided. Brussels said, we only wanna pay 10%. That's what their board decided this past week. Now, why I'm cautious, this is the total cost, so that's what this breakdown is all about. The total cost for Forestville would be $3,474,671. Now, that's the maximum cost right now, and that's for 629 drops. What I mean by a drop, when the fiber optic goes past, if you want service here, that's a drop. And then another company will come in and give you
But those are all based off of what numbers?
E911. That's E911.
Right.
By the way, if you want a new sign, after the first year, you can get a new sign from the planning department for all your E911 numbers. Once a year, you can get that.
And then I thought the committee went back and kind of checked to make sure that that was all correct and we weren't over or under and.
Now, that's another. This is what the FCC says. It's pretty close to what we say is E911. Now, every drop gonna cost, every time we make a drop, the internet service provider says it costs $5,560 and $5,524 for a drop. If you, as a township, say you only want drops at residents that people are living in, that would be about 468 you got right now?
469, I think it was.
Yeah.
469? So that would drop, if you drop 100 off of that number, that's about $55,000, it'd be less money. However, if you don't have a drop at this particular 911 address and the customer wants to build a house there and he wants a line, it's gonna cost him anywhere from $5,000 on up to get that connection made at the fiber optic location. So that would be your call as far as where you want the drop. So this was the email that John sent me this morning. Want to pass this out?
It is 468.
468?
which you think is this?
Just highlighting the draft, I've got a draft resolution. Highlighting that we're putting in, getting a letter ready from Randy Nesbitt to get a proposal as far as it, depending how you want to go. Now, some of the towns said, no, we want to go with an advisory referendum for April 2nd. If you want to have an advisory referendum on April 2nd, you have to have that information into our county clerk by the 21st of January. Other townships didn't do that. Other townships just had a town meeting where they invited the residents into a town meeting and had their opinion, and that, like Claybanks, that's what they did. And they voted to, yes, please go on and do that. So here is a resolution. This is the draft form now. This is gonna come out, you're gonna get a better copy before your next meeting. You would be to do a draft, a resolution, and then the wording for for your advisory referendum for the April 2nd election is in the middle of it. The wording is gonna change because Randy Nesbitt is gonna be changing some of this verbiage in here.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
That one is with Randy's changes.
Oh, this is the new one.
This is as a 3-something this afternoon.
Oh, this is not the draft. This is not the draft.
There's a letter from Randy in here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I got this about 3:36.
Okay,
So Randy Randy came in and evidently one of the towns wanted to put in their plus interest. And Randy said he's not a big fan of a plus interest language. He explains it above, but he put it in there because that's what John asked him for.
We recommended last week not to have any verbiage like that because
Well, that's right, but that's in here.
that's in there. You could eliminate that.
So I think we still need to get this thing resolved. Are we having another meeting next week?
Yeah, but it almost sounds like we can do what we want, they can do what they want, they can do what they want.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's exactly
yes,
right.
Yes, this is your municipality. You as a board can borrow the money without any advice from your residents. But you did pass a resolution
That's
back where you did say by citizens approval. Well, you did do that with the survey before. You could rest on the survey before. You did do that. That was done by the town.
And we had a 65% positive response
Right,
when we did that survey. Out of what, we may allow 400 rooms,
468.
468?
I didn't make a photocopy of that, but we had number of surveys mailed, 418. Returned as parties moved, that was 9, so return surveys was 148, so we had 36% participation. 83% said, do you support the town of Forestville continuing to research fiber optic broadband services for the town? 83% said yes. Are you willing to pay a tax levy increase for portions of the fiber optic infrastructure as grants and internet service providers' contribution to not cover the entire cost? 65% said yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
So it's,
So that's where we actually went out and got that expression through that mailing.
right now, but two things I would strongly recommend. I would strongly recommend that you consider at least 25% participation. If you know how these grants work, that the more money that you're willing to contribute is more likely you're gonna get the grant.
Mhm.
The less you're willing to contribute, the less you're likely to get the grant.
Right.
That's how you work. And in fact, if you are familiar with the Towns Association for the Local Road Improvement Program, there you can ask for money and they'll do whatever they want. So you ask for, if they say they're gonna give you 90%, then they cut it down to 70%, and they cut you down to 50%. So, that's, these grants frustrate the heck out of me. What I have good vibes for this whole thing is that we're going with a company that is a good grant writer. Brightspeed has got experience. If you've been around here 4 years ago, they've got fiber optics up and down Highway J.
They got all of it down there.
Yeah.
They've got a lot, they also have a lot of legacy fiber that can't be used.
That's correct.
So
But the new fiber they ran, can they use that, or
the
is that,
newest stuff they ran just a couple years
Right.
ago, yes.
which is unhooked, and they got all the little boxes, the power
Correct,
stuff, and
correct.
they just,
That fiber will support broadband internet the way they're going.
which will only be beneficial to us, because if we move forward with this, the hookup time should be a lot less than we're trying
Yes,
to
yeah,
continuously running stuff, right? That part's already, a lot of it is done, or
right.
some of it.
It's the legacy fiber, that backbone that originally was put in here 25 years ago, between like here and the school and some of that other stuff that was put in a number of years ago. That stuff can't carry what they need to have. But that's okay, because they are going after their back end with this CPF funding through Gardner in phase 1. This is a 2-phase project.
Right.
So the other thing that came out of this meeting last week, which Jessica Hatch brought the information from the county, is that they haven't got the rules down for the bidding process yet. And it's gonna be more a lottery. There'll be 4 steps in the lottery, and they have to get it completed by the end of the year. Now, her statement was the sooner we get in there, the better our chances of getting into the first lottery pool.
Yep.
And then if we're successful at that point, then it moves to the second tier, third tier, fourth tier.
Mhm.
And in my way of thinking, it would behoove us to get into a contract with Brightspeed with a contribution. Now, their 25% contribution is $668,668. That would be what the town's matching fund would be.
Brian, with interest, you're basically doubling it at
Well,
current rate
at the
for
current
20
rate,
years.
but we wouldn't have to borrow it right away.
No, you don't borrow that till.
You don't borrow it until you're actually into
But technically,
construction.
we wouldn't be, we're contracting, but we're not contracting tied in if we don't get the BEAD money.
That's
We're
correct.
not tied in.
That's
Right.
correct.
There's no,
Right,
That's correct.
right.
Yeah,
at least that's how I understood that.
that's exactly right. If you don't get, then that's what, if you don't get the funding, then it's you.
But we can't do this, really move forward without some form of commitment on our end.
That's correct.
Right.
And you have an option as to what percentage you want. You have an option, how you want to talk to the citizens as far as having a referendum on April 2nd or a town board town hall meeting. Or also there's going to be another meeting at
March 15th,
March 15th? Yep, the March 13th.
or March 13th, yeah.
March 13th, on Wednesday, March 13th, at Senator High School, there's going to be another meeting.
A public informational meeting.
So,
And John also provided another recap. They modified the post-meeting recap. And he said to me the other night, well, he says, I'd like this to get on town websites.
yeah,
And John, you keep changing it. Here's the latest one. This came in this afternoon as well. His recap he changed some of the wording again.
mhm,
And my comment, as I mentioned to you at that meeting, Roy, is I would like them to put this summary information on a website that everybody can go to, instead of just looking, at bits and pieces.
mhm.
Because every time you turn around, we're getting a different number or a different summary, or what have you.
Mhm.
So he was gonna talk to Jessica to see if there was something they could do at the county level. Now, I don't know where that stands at this
Yeah, I
point.
have no
That was
idea.
just Tuesday, so.
If you look on page 3 of the sheet that Larry just handed out,
This guy right here.
is that, just a total project cost, $3,474,671, that stayed the same yet, that's
Yep,
still.
that's exactly the same.
Still the same number yet.
Yep.
First of all, it was a little bit less than that because Brightspeed only had 400 and some E91 addresses for us, so.
But it's the 600. This is the number for all E911 addresses.
That's correct, that's correct.
So the county has some ARPA funds available to help us.
And they're gonna, they're
$15,000.
$25 per drop
Yeah.
is what their county's kicking in
It was
for
at
that.
25.
Comes out to, it comes out to 15,650 for us.
But they would do the same for everybody,
Everybody,
across the
every
board.
community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
hey, it's something better than nothing, right?
But what it shows you, I mean, what you're, like, I just got my taxes on. My total, I added up my valuation, assessed valuation was 400,000. So according to this, it'll cost me per month $27.27 per month added on to my taxes. So about $350 a year more. You talk to people that have internet service. I just talked to Craig this afternoon, Craig Dorner. He's paying $170 a month for his internet service. If you go this way, you're,
Well, yeah, but this is just the cost to have the drop brought in. We're
Drop.
still gonna pay our monthly.
you still pay your monthly fee.
Right.
On the last page, here's what their Brightspeed is planning to offer.
Yeah, so you still have to pay the $59 a month on top of that.
Just be happy not to see this spinning all the time. Can I do anything? No.
Yeah, but this, I mean, at $59 a month, which is less than that they're charging the people for DSL today,
Oh, yeah,
is gonna give you 200 megabit
yeah.
speed, which is astronomical by comparison to what we get now. So, you know, we have to.
Actually, we benefit with BEAD eligibility because everybody is underserved in our area.
Yep.
We're basically useless. You might as well go outside and yell.
Yeah,
Well,
well, the point here, I think, is that if we were to go forward with this thing, with all underserved,
We got a good chance.
we got a good chance, and if we put in a good amount of money,
mhm.
we've got a better chance.
Right, do the 25%.
I,
Yeah, I think that's the right way to go.
yes.
Yep.
Give you a little background on that. When Bertrand was talking to us, Bertrand came here and gave us their presentation with showing why you didn't want towers and all whatnot. And they were talking, that was gonna cost about 4 million, a little over 4 million, 4.5 million, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And they were saying you should go at least 30 to 33 to 35% is what they were talking about at that time.
But that was back on those earlier grants.
Yeah, and that was back in 42 million. Now, to let you know what their, Brightspeed has a transfer station on County Road C in the town of Gardner. They also have a transfer station in village of Forestville. Forestville is not doing anything. Forestville could get fiber to the homes quite reasonable, like under $300,000 right now, but they haven't done a thing, so they haven't,
They have Spectrum,
yeah, no, they got
don't they?
They got Brightspeed, they got just like.
Oh, really?
Yes, but the thing is,
They
because
only,
they're so close to that transfer
oh,
station,
that's fast.
they're okay.
Yeah,
It's as soon as you get out past my O or whatever, my O,
no,
Yeah,
it becomes almost
Yeah,
useless.
yeah,
You're too far out, you're
yeah.
too far out.
over a mile, you're done, even maybe a half a mile, so that's what we've been working on all this time. Like Larry is saying, it seems to be a moving target. Now, the grants that were available before, there were about 3 of them before, they were small grants. The one that just closed on November 7th was a $42 million grant. There were 111 applicants, and you heard them to say that it was $222 million, asking for $222 million. Now, Gardner did put in for that grant along with Brightspeed. They don't think they have a chance of getting it, but they put in a grant for that, I think everything except about $50,000. Brightspeed was putting in $25,000 and Gardner was putting in
that was
$25,000.
phase one.
That was their phase one, and so you get that going, but, they're going with the same program if they don't get that grant, as what we just talked about right here. And they're going with 25%.
Because if they get that grant, I don't think they're eligible for the second grant.
That's correct, they're not
They're
eligible.
out of the game on
Yep,
that.
they're out of the gate, yep. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, because that was designed to build out their backbone. That's
Correct.
really what that was.
And that was for the unserved,
Right.
which they had the majority of the unserved people, and that's why they did
Correct.
that, because that hub.
Yep.
And the unserved people, that would have given them the best chance for the funding right there, which
Correct.
made
Yep.
all the sense in the world.
Mhm.
You're looking at.
But that was that capital funds program,
So,
CPF.
So the 1.55 is only for Wisconsin, it says Wisconsin BEAD funding.
yes, that's Wisconsin money coming from this, I don't know how much billions it is, but
It's 1.5.
I mean, for the United
Billion.
States.
Yeah, 1.55 billion, but you're the entire state and everybody's gonna,
Yep,
Got it.
so sometime
sounds like a lot, but
in the first quarter, we'll hear about when it's gonna open up. Is it gonna open up in March? Is it gonna open in April? This is when you can start applying for these funds, Mr. ISP or IPS,
but
whatever.
they didn't really even tell, they haven't come out with a format of what you want to fill out yet, right?
That is correct. That is correct. If I just looked at one format from who was filling that grant out, it was about a 40 pager. I forget which one it was one of the department heads was filling out a grant. It just blew my mind, so, it's a federal money, so it's gonna be complicated. But it's the ISP that's doing the grant, it's not
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah. We don't have anybody in our township qualified to fill any of that out.
So I guess for your next month board meeting, you would pass a resolution, this one right here. The one that you got, Larry just handed you.
Yep.
And,
I would,
and then decide if you're going to go with the verbiage on the ballot, or if you're going, you still will need to have a town meeting sometime in March before the election to advise your people of interest. You're still gonna have to do that. I think,
What would be the benefit of not putting it on the ballot? Can, you know what I mean, you're not getting ahead anywhere else, wouldn't it just be easier to put it on the ballot? Larry, you understand what I'm asking?
I know what you're asking. And this thing is so fluid, I don't feel comfortable with the referendum process at this point. I think we could still call a special town meeting if necessary. Once we get some more guidance on what they're doing with the deed application process through the ISP.
But as the clock keeps ticking, that keeps pushing us closer to the election to begin with.
Well, we still have a month to decide whether we're going to do this or not. And because you have to get that in what, Ruth, the 24th, a ballot, initiative has to be.
21st or 24th, you're going to update it to Jill.
Yeah,
Of January.
In January.
yes, of January.
Your next meeting is
So we
on.
have next month to actually have to make a decision. Personally, I'm in favor of saying, as a town board, we should just go after this 25% borrowing and go forward.
I agree.
But I wanna know more about the benefits or the drawbacks. And we can decide that next month. So
Yeah,
that's,
we're not gonna decide, this is just information, we can ponder that in our.
Right.
little-
Yeah.
but it should be on our agenda for next month to make a decision one way or another.
Agreed.
And I would like to get more information. Now, this is that group of people that I wanted to
Right.
see.
Last but not least, out of our survey, we asked the question, would you be willing to serve? And of course, my interest was strictly to see who would be on the committee. And we did pick Jason Rower and we picked Chris Sampo for the committee. And these were the 12 people that said, yes, we're so darn interested in it, please let me know. And these were the people before the referendum?
Yeah.
Or before your next meeting?
This
or-
was out of the 400 and some that we mail out.
That's correct, that's right. Those are, and really, we were complimented by John for our results and also for the number of people that said, yes, yeah, I'd like to help him get going.
I've had calls from Savannah.
Okay,
Blazer lives in, right up there,
At Brettle's house?
Brettlesville,
okay, yeah, Savannah.
you know, and of course, my daughter, Pam,
Mhm.
she's in IT.
And she wants to do this, Pam does.
Pam,
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
and, Jason has been a godsend for that committee, because he's the IT director.
Yeah, he's IT director, and
So, you know,
he was very instrumental in allowing these ISPs to zoom in because they were coming from Tennessee and Alabama.
oh, yeah.
So what are you asking of these people? Are we looking to do another committee of some sort?
No, these are just people that said we're
That were
interested
okay.
in spreading the word.
What about reconciliation of those addresses? do we have, is that reconciliation thing that Jessica Ash is working with the GIS system?
Okay, the FCC said that's where they got these underserved and overserved and not broadband, not deed eligible. Zach Swartz is our GIS person with the county, and he is looking at this FCC listing. And we're supposed to get that sometime in January or February of our correct people, numbers that are in our service area for each township. Now, we have that information,
More or less.
well, we know exactly, how many houses that have a sewer and are livable. We know that, 468.
Is that barn count?
No,
Oh,
but where are businesses and other.
But then there's businesses, and also, we also know there's about 39 or 40 houses in this township that are houses, nobody's living in there, or they don't have a septic system.
Right,
So those could be renovated in the future.
and maybe added to, make sure we have drops there.
Yeah.
So in my way of thinking, after that discussion that we had in the committee had, these people, or some of these people, could be pressed into service in reconciliation of the FCC listing vis-a-vis RE 911 listing.
Right, that's exactly
So
right.
those 40-some houses are not on the E911 list?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, but we
Oh,
know
they're in our 600 total.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
they're in there.
So let me back up just a little bit then. So what Zach Schwartz is looking at, he's looking at eliminating the ones that are empty, no buildings, the ones that have a barn on or a shed, but no house. So what I'm saying is that he'll probably come up with 468 plus the 40 houses that are empty. Because that he's a number, so our number might be 550.
Which would make it less if you're talking
Right.
$5,400 per drop.
Yeah.
So we're trying, but we have a pool of skilled folks
Yeah.
that would be willing to do some work on reconciliation.
Yep.
Because not every one of them are gonna be able to be resolved with the GIS system. You may, what did they say up in Jacksonport or Svaspool? They had to go out and investigate physically,
Yeah.
a handful of locations.
Yeah, now John did this in Gardner, he went to 3 places that were way out, in a little cabin
Right,
2
right.
miles away, you're not gonna run a drop
No,
there.
but you have to
Even-
identify.
Even at that, if we're looking at this 25%, all that will do is lessen that amount.
The grand total amount, well, listen,
Right.
your
So in our
amount-
mind, if we're going off of this math right here, it would only get better, not worse.
That's correct, that's correct. And like everything else, if you were building a house right now, the price would keep on going up, as you know.
Well, yeah, Jan was on TV with that.
Yeah, it's-
Pretty interesting.
And this was figured with, and then also this is figured at 6.25 interest rate.
Right.
Where they're getting that from is from the state pool. The
Your
state
old public lands.
has a public land that all municipalities can borrow from, and you get your money real fast, 2 or 3 days. And their interest rate fluctuates. When we started this project, the interest rate was at 3% a year ago. Now it's at 6.25.
Right.
Now, hopefully it might go
But it
back
went
down.
up to 6.75, didn't
Well,
it?
I'm assuming it kind of follows the prime a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it does. Well, we looked at that a couple of times.
Yeah, we did,
We've had paperwork
yeah.
already filled out, ready to go in case we didn't get, road money.
Yep.
For some of our projects. Mill Road was one of them.
Now, now Jacksonport borrowed some money a couple of years ago, and they found their interest rate at the local bank less than what the public land trust was.
Bureau of Public Lands.
So it's, also, Sevastopol just signed their contract with AT&T for $2.5 million. Of course, they didn't have a referendum and they didn't have a public hearing, but they've been conversing with all their people for over a year now. They had went with Bud Tussle and then they had to cancel that contract, and so now they're going with AT&T on So he just did that. Nassawapi, last week, they sent out their RFPs. They went out, they sent out once and then they didn't accept it, so now they sent out another list of RFPs. So who they're gonna go with, I have no idea. So everybody's doing something, and Door County is ahead of the rest of the state.
Which should only help us in the grant.
That's correct, that's correct.
We might make us the poster child and go down from there.
And I gotta give credit to Ken Tavish, our county administrator. He's pushed the municipalities to do something. He was on this thing right from the get-go. He's pushed us to that.
And Jessica Hatch has been a big asset.
Yes, she has. She came from Bertrand, who used to be Door County Broadband. She worked for Door County Broadband and she left them when Bertrand took over. And so now, I don't think there's going to be any changes with Bertrand. It's a privately owned company by one individual who's very aggressive, very entrepreneur. He's a great guy. However, things changed in his family. His wife passed away last week, so they don't expect any changes, but
Yeah, he presented to the county board in Kiwanee
yeah.
just the other day.
Oh, he did.
Yes, he did. I watched it on the internet.
Who did Clay
Who did
Bates go
Clay
with?
Banks go up?
Cliff Bertrand.
Bertrand.
Yeah, they worked with them from the get-go. Yeah, they were.
Not too many people wanted to touch Claybacks.
It's a tough one.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good, you got the drop by the lake and it's a tough one. Yeah, and they need the service. So yes, so next board meeting, you need to take some kind of action on it. And that's why I'm presenting this tonight, to talk about that. And I'm glad, thank you, Larry, for bringing that, the latest letter. That's, you can go with that.
Yeah,
That's been.
well, I don't know that necessarily we would go with that plus interest statement in there. But then, and that, and John Nesbitt, or Randy Nesbitt explains that in his letter.
Yeah,
So we got a lot of stuff to go through. One of the keys to this, and I really appreciate the fact that you took the leadership, even though I shamed you into it. But it's been a good effort put forth, and I thank you for that.
thank you.
And also Jason and Chris Sampo, all three of you.
Yeah, Jason comes through, every meeting, missed the last one, but Chris Sampo got in. Chris Sampo,
Works for AT&T.
yeah, he works for AT&T, he installs fiber optics, he messes with that stuff.
So if this thing goes through and we say yes and whatever, did they give us a timeline on how many years are we out before?
You're probably 2025, nothing's gonna get started in 2024 because they're not gonna release any grants, so they'll first be getting the stuff together, their equipment together in 2024, 25, and probably start digging in 2026.
You might have it by 27.
Yeah, you're that far out.
Yep.
I mean, in reality.
Yeah.
In reality, that's really where it's at.
No. My daughter she needs internet fast, so she's building a house and she's gonna get Starlink. She's got Quantum in there to wire her house up, and then the minute she's got residency, she's gonna get Starlink right away.
Does she know what she's getting at?
Yeah,
Never mind.
That's what she's gonna do. Jason, the only time I see you is when we are going to bed and I see your lights coming down the road. You got that big bar in front, so I recognize you. And then when we're having breakfast in the morning, I see you going home. Is that your schedule? Wow.
When he's in Wisconsin.
When I'm in Wisconsin, my schedule's 11 to 7-ish, or whenever I leave, which is usually 11 to 11 or
Wow.
11 to 10.
What about when you're in Indiana and Pennsylvania?
And the other times I'm around, so,
Yeah, so nice seeing you. I haven't seen you since April.
every once in a while, I see you on your mule over there checking out the crew on Sue's house. I was gonna stop in and
Yeah.
have a look-see at it, but
Well, you'd get muddy if you did that.
yeah, it's.
Today was okay. But any more questions on, this is where we are as
Thank
of
you.
today. And we got some people that we will have another general meeting like that on March 13th. And if I had any more information for next month, I'll come back. And we did. Also, Kevin, if you want me to come here occasionally to give you an update on county business, I'll be happy to do that if you.
Yeah.
It's nice to know when what's going on in the county.
Some towns didn't like that, so I didn't go, but
Did a good job on H finally.
yeah.
No, that is beneficial. That fits your schedule and your.
Yeah,
Really?
and, I don't know what kind of information you get, but, you know, next month, the mileage rate goes up or down. I'll give that information. I'll send that to you, Ruth, if you want that, usually after the first
Yeah, I
year.
look at it once.
Yeah, you see that on that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And that runs out of the IRS.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have a great, group of people working for the county. They were, if you know anybody that would be interested in working for the highway department, we're short 4 people right now. You need a CDL license and you have to be willing to do anything. Some people come in with a CDL license, they say, oh, I just want to drive a truck. No.
You get to drive truck and lean on a shovel. I've always dreamed of that job.
Yeah, right.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 13, HayGov and the website update.
Yay, Gov, and the website update, yay, Gov. We finally got rid of Rackspace in total.
I think
And
we're
I
okay.
got Ruth, I gave her the termination. It's accessible by me until the 24th. I sent that to you, so we will not get another charge on that. So it's done with. I don't know if anybody's had any other problems. I know I've gotten everybody running on their workspace, the Google Workspace, and I have not experienced any problems with it. Have you guys had any trouble with it? It's working.
No,
It's working
everything
good.
seems to be working fine.
I kind of noticed the QuickBooks is a little bit slower.
Really? That shouldn't have been affected by that.
Yeah, it's slower.
It is. Huh. Well, I have to talk with Dina too, and see if she's experiencing the same
I
thing.
think she said she was too. I'll have to
Okay.
ask. I think she said the same.
So some of the stuff that you send, you have read only, but sometimes I wanna print it off, like, let's say the agenda.
Oh,
But it says,
Is it
it's the
read
old format, it's the old format.
It's old doc format.
Yeah,
and
is
you're
there
not
some way
using-
of updating her to get her,
I'll come over and.
You know what, it's 'cause
Change
you
your
can't-
defaults.
okay.
Yes,
if that's possible?
it is, I believe. But she's still using, the installed version of MS Word. So not using Google Docs, and she is not using the current version. We didn't buy a current version. So at some point in time, that computer, it's good, but at some point in time, I think we have to go the route of one of these, just like we did with Dina.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
but,
Did you want to stop tomorrow and check it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you had an upgrade on yours, but you didn't get the new computer. Dina
No.
got the new one.
Dina got a laptop.
Hers,
Yeah,
yours
yeah.
was about 7 or 8 years old now.
I forgot what.
No?
Yeah,
And it's like dog years for a computer, you know that, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but, and, yeah,
I'd have to look.
it's almost time,
Okay,
so it's something we have to look at.
okay. Alright.
All right,
As far as the ongoing activities with the Hay Governor website, there's been questions through, just like earlier this evening. I didn't get the email update. Well, if you go on to that subscription capability through the Hay Gov access point and update your profile, or as Lauren did, he said to me something a month or two ago, and I went in and fixed his, and then, you guys, I have to fix that too. So I can manage that as necessary. You'd asked me a question on something about updates. Those things are generally handled, when Ruth sends me something or as a result of action we take, like the minutes now, I will post them afterwards. I get the video, I will post that. And that usually is just handled, it's the way town web design operates, they call it, this is designed to make clerk work easier. it's designed to support what clerks do. In this particular case, I've been doing it in helping out to get us to this level with the internet digital services and that type of thing. But in reality, it's actually clerk's responsibility for a lot of this stuff, postings and such. But they also provide full service. So that means that, let's say I got hit by a truck going out of here tonight, Ruth would just have to send the stuff to the town web support and they would do the work that I've been doing. It's just easier for me, you know, cause we're on top of, we're changing things as we go along. And the Rackspace piece of it was one of them. So, otherwise, I'm very satisfied with what Dustin has done with this and, with our digital services. And, we'll, as far as I'm concerned, we're doing well.
Better than Rackspace, that was terrible.
Yeah, right in my head.
Good grief.
As always,
So that's it for Hey Governor website update.
Okay, item 14. Road work. And Mr. Bader, do you got anything you wanna go over on your end?
No, we're just doing, we have one more sign to do for you guys, and that's on Carnot, which I talked to you about.
Yeah,
And I went ahead and ordered it, and it should be here, it's in Chicago right now, so it should be here tomorrow or the next day.
all right.
And all your stuff's in, we ended up replacing the sign on Maplewood and Maple Road. The pipe was jolt. Signs are good, but we replaced the post.
I think Dina mentioned on Old Elm Road, that sign is still down in the ditch. Something about children,
Slow children
slow children.
past the farm,
Is it past the farm?
or is it by the farm?
I don't know.
I thought that was the one you were telling me was rocky and you could barely get down.
We got that one done. But we didn't
Yeah,
see
I
no
know
slow
that.
children sign. On her road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's laying in the ditch or something.
We got the one on No Road done.
Do you have her number? You could call her tomorrow or something, and she'd tell you where it was.
Yeah,
I just stopped in there too.
Yeah,
yep, she has
But
mentioned
there's-
that a couple times.
There's this, the sign that is in the ditch.
Yes,
yeah, she said it's not up yet,
Sign head post.
yeah,
yes.
it's
It's a slow children sign,
something, yeah,
but it's laying there in the ditch.
yeah. I don't know.
It's been for quite a,
Mhm.
she mentioned it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So,
I must have figured it was on the No Road. That's.
no, it's
No.
literally on the way to the farm.
It's on Old Elm.
Mhm.
And I told you about that pothole earlier
Yes,
on
yeah,
Maplewood Road.
thank you for that.
And, I know we're not supposed to, but we went ahead and put the hidden driveway, a $35 sign on the same post.
Well, that's because that guy had called and he did, he had a legit
Yeah,
com-
when I went
concern.
back, I pulled in his driveway and I seen what he was talking about.
So when he pulls up, we wanted to do the sign on the hill that we approved, right? He calls me up and he sends me his picture, he says, Kevin, I can't see. So he's looking down toward Roy's, hole. You look out his driveway, all you see is the sign, you can't see the darn road. He says, is there anything we could do with that? Well, I had you go over there and look, and again, I sent you the picture or whatever, and so what he did is he put it up on the other, made it a taller post and put them both, but
The thing that sucks is you got nowhere to go. If we move the sign, well, it's defeats the purpose to even have it.
yeah.
So it's one of those things. But we got taken care of. He was really nice about it.
Yeah, he was, and he understood it, and they wanted the sign to begin with, right? They were concerned about the kids, and all of a sudden, we give them the sign, and now it's a visual
Can't see,
problem.
Yeah.
What's worse, I don't know.
Where do we stand on, Old Krieger Road and, Town Line Road?
So, all applications are in right now, for our funding. We are applying for the 90% funding, which obviously, as we all know, with grants, it probably will never be 90%, but hey, we're gonna get as much as we can. We've got letters of support that we can get, which should help. We are top on the county's list as far as, ratings of the roads of all the towns that came in of ones that they would like to get
So
done.
but we don't know when we're gonna hear about that.
Correct. Well, the application is sent in, just like
Yep.
broadband and everything else, right? Those applications are sent in and you won't hear anything until, I don't know, a month or two from now, is basically it.
And they changed the rules. Isn't that what John Peacock says?
I wouldn't be too optimistic about our state person that's representing that division.
At the
In
department?
January, he didn't know anything about town government or town roads.
Mm.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't be too optimistic, but
Well, hopefully we can get something done.
this will be the third time.
I know.
And usually the third time you get it. So you're in good shape.
Perhaps you should think about
Well,
running for state government.
One of the biggest things, right, because most of them are looking at everything as a mile,
Mhm.
right? It's a mile. Well, this is a mile and a half. So it's two roads. So
Yes.
they call it, it's like, but the whole point of that is to make that a safe truck route, to get those vehicles
Yeah,
out of that town.
that's
I
right.
cannot believe somebody is not hurt already or dead. Even when you come back from J and you stop and you're facing going west, you can't see, those cars come flying by. You know what I mean? It's hard for just a vehicle to get through there, much less a semi.
Every 20 seconds.
It's not a good situation. There are so many things wrong with what's there.
Yep.
This is so much better, and I'm
Yep.
hoping everything we sent there is, and everything that was done in the past, somebody wakes up. And,
Hopefully they learn.
before somebody actually gets
Yep.
seriously hurt. So we can only hope for the best there, but
Okay, so.
everything is in, and now we're basically waiting for them to do their part. So we've already passed the county part and got, like I said, we're number one on the list. And that's as high as you're gonna get, right? You can't get any
You know,
other than the top one.
sometime in around the middle of January is when the directors from the town association will be meeting with the state people.
And that's,
And sometime in the first part of March is when you're gonna be finding out. That was a schedule from 2 years ago.
I would think it would stay the same, I mean,
All right, just curious.
so hopefully
Yeah, that'd be great.
everything there is good.
Oh, I have one more question.
Yeah,
Did you get any more information on that Kroll down
that was,
that?
I didn't get enough information yet
Okay.
at this point, so I
Alright.
was just gonna bring that up.
Right.
That we're still working on that subdivision,
Yeah.
and since you're here, right, you at least find out what's there. So, an individual had called and sent emails or whatever, that they're looking at buying some lots over there. Okay, so they wanted to know some information, well, I gave her whatever information we had. And then I directed her over to Sue,
Mhm.
okay? Well, Sue is trying to tell us that this is a town road.
What is the name of it?
Van Grove, Van Grove's View.
Van Grove's View, I don't ever remember
Oh,
Van Grove's View.
It's not, so if you look at one part of it, it shows it as a private road. But then Sue goes back into the documents and you go to the Register of Deeds and they're saying that that's a town road. Well, it's not a town road.
What road?
That subdivision off on
Mill?
Mill Road, almost. to
Almost
dam
into the
on this
township.
side.
You know, I mean.
That was Gerald Kroll that,
Correct.
you probably don't even know about it because in 2002 is when the minutes I had on there, a developer would like to plot out a subdivision of the Kroll property on Mill Road. No motions were made.
Mhm.
A month later, Kroll subdivision, no information received. And then I looked for 2003 and 2004 and there was no information. But all of a sudden, they're saying it's a road.
There's no road.
No,
There's no, nothing.
there's nothing.
It's a
not even
field,
drive.
if you're driving into the field. It's like
There is
field
some
entrance.
gravel there, okay? But what that does, my whole concern is, once they're saying that that's a town road in the Register of Deeds, I said, I want it off. It is not on our list of roads. We have never as a board
Excellent.
or you, or any of this
No.
board township has never agreed to taking that. I don't care whatever this,
You look on
whoever did this, doesn't matter.
You look on your big sheet that you got all the roads.
Oh, yeah, I
There's-
did.
There's no information, you got
Yes.
45.59 miles of road.
Yes, yes.
That is not in
So
there.
we're all on the same page, and I'm gonna
We're not
continue
getting
to
any
fight
road
that.
aid.
You know, and I don't know, at some point, if I have to, I will get a hold of, Randy or an attorney, but first I wanna see if I can deal with this through the courthouse.
Well, get-
You might have to change or whatever deed, I don't care, but no matter what, we don't wanna be responsible for that, which then changes the setbacks. Right, cause now the setbacks are different from a private road to a town road to a county road. But my whole hang up is, I could care less about your setbacks. All of a sudden, you know what, I want you to maintain your road. Fix it, make it, do whatever, hell no, it's not our road, we're not paying for that.
Well, we had this in the past where the land division had a error, and we own a piece of land in the village of Forestville,
Yeah, that triangle.
that triangle.
Yeah, I
This could
remember
be the
that.
same thing, go with the land divisions, Mariah Goody, who's your contact, she's,
Well, yeah, but that's with Sue.
yeah, and that's where that has to be corrected in their reports, because, that's off of Mill Road, I have no idea,
It's right on the edge of the village, right on the edge of the village.
on the east
It's
side,
in our
On the east
section,
side.
in the east side of the village, next to Villers,
yes, right next to Villers.
and,
The yellow gas sign is there. There's a yellow gas sign that
Yes.
points for the snowmobilers to go up to the
yes,
gas
right
station.
there.
Yep.
See, Villers wanted, and it got annexed to the village of Forestville because they wanted the
Mhm.
TV.
Cable.
That's what they did, so they got annexed. So the town of Forestville Road keeps on going past their place to where the no parking sign is. Found that out, but this property has never been part of town.
No,
Because it's not even a road.
so
You're not
yes, we're all in
getting roadie.
agreement, and we're all, I will do whatever I gotta do to
It's
make
gonna be
that happen
blacktop.
and move forward, but.
That's why, if you live longer, you get rid of stress, and I got rid of stress, thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
Well, I was like, it's just wrong. I don't care.
It's there, but it's wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna get fixed,
Yeah.
but, yes.
Beavers, cats.
So anyway, that's what we know about all that. Okay, payment of bills.
Yeah,
Probably starting somewhere by 11:13, is that?
yeah, I looked at those bills,
Right.
we were signing them before the meeting started, so. And, what is it, on 11:13 is where it starts.
Usually that's about where we start. yeah.
Yep, the streetlight bill.
I looked over the checks as well.
Yeah. Do you have any outstanding receivables? None. Oh, God.
No, just
Yeah,
that one.
that's the one.
She just
bill
sent it out.
That just went out.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I would think it's safe to make a motion.
Yeah.
All right, I make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second that.
All right, I have a motion to pay the bills in a second. All in favor?
All right.
All opposed? Hearing none, it will pass. Announcements?
We should think about,
All right,
you don't have to make a thing.
did you have something there?
What was the meeting? This is district meeting. We don't have to make anything now, but I think it should be on our agenda for next month.
Okay, well, we can hit that on item 18.
You know,
What day is one
well,
for?
there's
There's several, but I mean.
two of them. One is in February at the Rock Garden,
Mhm.
and that's the district meeting. And then there's another one in March at the Farm Discovery Center in Manitowoc. So I think some of us have to go for the board of review training.
Mhm, Right, right.
So
What is the date in February on there?
16th.
I didn't-
Friday, February 16th
Okay, I can look
at the
on my-
Rock Garden,
Mhm.
and it just requires 10 days in advance, so we can do that, decide that next
Meeting,
month.
Sure.
But that should go on that,
Oh, an item
On the
18.
agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna wanna put the internet thing on there as well.
all right, yeah, and the broadband, you know,
That's what I mean.
where we're.
That's what I meant by the
Yep.
internet thing.
Yep, decision,
Right, so we'll hit that on 18. So do we have anything else for announcements, or are we good with item 16?
Good.
Okay, moving on to item number 17, all other matters as authorized by law. Ruth, do you have any?
No, I don't think.
All right, hearing none, now we will move on to item number 18. Discussion and items intended for future meetings. So there's where we'll put down the WTA, right? We can make a decision on that.
the district meeting, yep.
Yep, the district meeting. And then, we gotta make a decision on what we had talked about here today as far as the broadband. How we're gonna do it, the amount we're gonna go for. And if we're gonna put it on, the ballot, or what we're gonna do, basically.
Right.
So with the information here, we can all look at that over, and then we can make some decisions.
There's a lot, and you may get more.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming you could just email that over, or you gotta send it to Ruth and then.
I'd send
email
it to Ruth, and then
And then she
if
can
there's
fire it.
stuff pertinent, that become aware of, I can send it to Ruth, and if you get something from John Cook.
Yeah.
We'll just get it, you get it sent out. then.
All right. Okay, anything else that we wanna add on to future agenda?
That's what I can think of.
Okay, here you go more. Item number 19, next town board meeting is going to be Monday, January 15th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. I am looking for an adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'd second that.
All right, I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor? All right, all opposed? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.